These are the names of children published in the Washington Post today that have been killed by the Israeli military in Gaza.
Since October 2023, more than 75,000 people have been reportedly killed across Gaza and Lebanon, with independent studies by the Max Planck Institute estimating the true figure in Gaza alone may be between 100,000 and 126,000 deaths, when indirect deaths from starvation and destroyed healthcare are actually counted. 80% of confirmed deaths are estimated to have been civilians, 30% have been children. This did not happen without American consent, American financing, and American munitions. The US has provided at least $21.7 billion in direct military aid to Israel since October 2023, nearly 3 times the annual average. Israel's entire inventory of combat-capable aircraft comes from the US. 75 F-15s, 196 F-16s, 39 F-35s, as are most of its attack helicopters. The Quincy Institute concluded plainly that Israel could not have wreaked the level of destruction it has inflicted on Gaza without US weapons and financing. Both the Biden and Trump administrations looked at that reality and chose to continue regardless. Now, consider what those aircraft were delivering targets for. 2 AI systems, Lavender and the Gospel, they process surveillance data to generate lists of up to 37,000 Palestinian men algorithmically linked to Hamas. A third system, entitled Where's Daddy, tracked those men to their family homes specifically because that is where they were easiest to find at night when their children were also present. The human review for each target was approximately 20 seconds, enough time, according to intelligence officers' testimonies, to confirm the target was male. One described his role as nothing more than a stamp of approval. The authorized collateral damage for a low-ranking operative, someone the IDF's own sources called unimportant, was up to 20 civilian deaths. For a senior commander, that number could exceed 100 civilian deaths. To put that in context, during the US coalition campaign against ISIS, a collateral damage count of 15 civilians on a single strike required special authorization from the head of US Central Command. Israel's AI simply priced mass civilian death into the algorithm from the outset, and America kept the planes flying. In The End of the American Empire, I wrote about this gap between America's stated values and its behavior, the moral contradiction that hollows out soft power from within. But this is something beyond hypocrisy. What is being normalized in Gaza is a completely new architecture of killing. The conscience has been removed from the chain of command, replaced by a server running at industrial scale with a 10% acknowledged margin of error baked in, meaning thousands of the 37,000 targets were almost certainly civilians the algorithm simply misidentified. And the reason this matters beyond Gaza is this: the way the world reacts to current uses of military AI is likely to set a precedent for the future development and use of the technology. We are, experts warn, inside a narrow pre-proliferation window, the last moment in history before autonomous weapons become as widespread and ungovernable as small arms. Only 5 nations voted against the UN resolution calling for a legally binding treaty on autonomous weapons. The US and Russia were among them. The UN Secretary General has called fully autonomous lethal systems politically unacceptable and morally repugnant. America voted no. So when a great power funds a war, supplies its munitions, shields it from international accountability, and then votes against the treaties that might prevent the methods deployed from spreading to every army on earth, it's not merely complicit in what has already happened. It is authoring what comes next. That is the threshold being crossed right now. And the question history will ask is not whether we noticed, it is whether we said anything while there was still time.